Welcome to Mindful Monday, and today I'm going to talk about a concept that comes directly out of Og Mandino's The Greatest Salesman in the World. If you've been following along, I've been reading through what he calls the 10 scrolls, and I am on scroll number 8. I spend 30 days with each scroll, and scroll number 8 is titled, Today I Will Multiply My Value 100-fold. And I just love this scroll and the meaning behind it. Okay? First thing it says is, I am likened to a grain of wheat which faces one of three futures. The wheat can be placed in a sack and dumped in a stall until it is fed to swine. Or it can be ground to flour and made into bread. Or it can be placed in the earth and allowed to grow until its golden head divides and produces 1,000 grains from the one. I am likened to a grain of wheat with one difference. The wheat cannot choose whether it be fed to swine, ground for bread, or planted to multiply. I have the choice, and I will not let my life be fed to swine and despair to be broken open and devoured by the will of others. Today, I will multiply my value 100-fold. Woof. Powerful stuff. So the beautiful thing is, we can multiply ourselves. That's the possibility. We can do that just like a grain of wheat. But unlike a grain of wheat, we have the choice. We can sit around and do nothing and just let the world dictate what happens to us and the outcomes of our lives. Or we can make the choice to multiply ourselves 100-fold. And this is a difficult choice, right? Because he goes on to say, to grow and multiply, it is necessary to plant the wheat grain in the darkness of the earth, and my failures, my despairs, my ignorance, and my inabilities are the darkness in which I have been planted in order to ripen. It's a tough place to choose to put yourself in. Now, like the wheat grain, which will sprout and blossom only if it is nurtured with rain and sun and warm winds, I too must nurture my body and mind to fulfill my dreams. But to grow to full stature, the wheat must wait on the whims of nature. I need not wait, for I have the power to choose my own destiny. Again, it's all about your choice. You have the choice to multiply, and then you have the choice of your destiny. You have the choice to nourish yourself, to learn things you have to learn to be able to multiply. He goes on to talk about goal setting, and this is amazing because me as an executive drive type, I'm driven by goals and winning, crushing those goals, okay? So this gets me going. In setting my goals, I will consider my best performance of the past and multiply it 100-fold. This will be the standard by which I will live in the future. Never will I be of concern that my goals are too high, for is it not better to aim my spear at the moon and strike only an eagle than to aim my spear at the eagle and strike only a rock? Boom! You guys, this is the exact same message as the 10x rule. Exact same message. And I've been talking about this because I read that book and it changed my perspective on things. Okay? The difference is this takes it from a different point of view. He's talking about looking backwards, looking at your best performance so far, something that you can actually see that you have done. And now take that and multiply it by 100, and that is your goal. And guess what? When you hit that goal, then you do the same thing. You look back and say, hey, what's the best performance I've done in my life? And I'm going to multiply that now by 100. That's my new goal, and you continue to move forward. With the 10x rule, it's the same thing. It's a little bit different because he says that you look at what you would deem as a reasonable goal, as something you can accomplish for sure without a doubt. You take that and then you multiply that by 10. Because then that's something that you don't know. You have to have faith, you have to have trust in yourself, and you don't know, or you might not know exactly how to get that thing. So you have to think bigger, you have to stretch yourself, you have to go out there and learn, you have to meet people, you have to talk to people, you have to do all these things. Where if you set low goals, a low bar, man, nobody thrives off hitting a low bar. Nobody thrives off that. Nobody stretches, nobody improves, nobody really advances in life, nobody gets motivated. How do you get motivated? Set high goals, set high targets, and then no matter what happens, never lower that target, okay? You set the target, okay? You can do it either way or both ways. Look back. What is the best performance I've ever had in my life related to whatever the subject of the goal is, okay? Times that by 100, that's your new goal. Or, hey, for this goal, what can I reasonably accomplish? What do I think is reasonable? Take that, times it by 10, that's your new goal, okay? Challenge yourself. Aim high. Again, it's going to switch your thinking. Look, if you say, I want to read 12 books a year, that's 1 book a month, right? Now, if you put that off until month 12, is it possible to read 12 books in month 12? Absolutely. Especially with Audible, put that thing on 2x, absolutely. You can do that. So instead of giving yourself an option of, well, I can just put it off till next month, I'll still be able to accomplish that goal, no problem. 10x your goal. Instead of 12 books, make it 120 books, and now that's what? That's more than 2 a week. 52 weeks in a year, that's more than 2 a week, right? But let's call it 2 a week. Can you do 2 a week? Yeah. But if you postpone 2 that week, now the next week you got to do 4. If you postpone that, now you got to do 6. Now you got to do 8. And now you're making it really challenging for yourself. So you have to switch your perspective. It's going to motivate you to move and take action. For me, with my real estate, I'm doing 22 units this year. Now, right now, I'm under contract for a 5 unit, and we're set to close later this month. And I've run into some snags. It's been an interesting road through the closing process this time around. But here's the thing. One, I'm hopeful, and I still believe that we'll come to an agreement, we'll close, we'll get everything that we need to do to move forward. But hey, if it doesn't happen, and I'm just saying, if it doesn't happen, I still got 8 months, right? I still got 8 months to go out there and get 22 units. Now, that's not the same as starting over. I was not procrastinating through now, because it is not a small feat to get 22 units in 1 year, especially when I'm starting with 7, okay? All right, so I have to move, and I have been moving. I've been going to networking events. I've been looking at deal after deal after deal. I've been going to our mastermind calls. I've been taking classes within our group. I've been taking classes outside of our group. I've been doing everything I possibly can. I'm doing coaching, everything I possibly can to get to where I need to get to so I can have 22 units this year. Now, like I said, if this deal doesn't go through, look, I could buy 1 deal with 22 units. That could happen. That's challenging, but it can happen. Absolutely. Grant Cardone's first deal was 42 units. Okay, now that's a guy who had millions of dollars just sitting there in the bank. I'm in a little bit of a different position. I would love to say I had $1 million in the bank, but nonetheless, I could still do it. It could still happen. I have to trust in myself, trust in the process, learn all the things I can learn, just take massive action and aim for that 22. Heck, I might even surpass 22, but it's not, there's no doubt that it's going to happen, right? And that's the target. So you don't, even if, and I'm just saying, this 5 units is going to go through, but even if it didn't, I would not lower my target. You never lower your target. You change your actions. And the other thing I would say is I've learned so much over the first almost 4 months now of this year that I would take everything I've learned moving forward, and then that'll help me on the next deal as well. All the people I've met and networked with who are in real estate moving forward, that's going to help me as well. I got a stronger network, more people local in the areas that I'm looking in, more people that I'm networked with that are interested in partnering on deals, more lenders in my circle. All of these different things that are going to help streamline deals moving forward. So you guys, you got to start somewhere, but don't aim low. That is a mistake. That is a mistake. Don't be reasonable with your goals. Be unreasonable. 10x your goals, or go back and look at your highest performance ever and multiply that by 100. Either way, you're shooting high, and you hold that bar. And hey, if you end up striking low, you're still probably going to destroy whatever goal you were going to set for yourself. And you're still lifting yourself up, and you're learning so many things that you can then take on when you go and set your next goal. Okay? So remember, you have the ability to multiply your value 100-fold, and you have the choice to do that, and you have the choice to do that now. Okay? Don't wait for life to happen to you. Take matters into your own hands. Take control of your life. Get out there, kick some butt. All right, that's it for today. Talk to you soon.